Alrighty. Grand Rising, good afternoon, and good evening, y'all. Um, this reading, I feel like, is a long time in the making. Shout out to everybody who kicks it with me on Allegedly Wednesdays. This one goes out to you. So, I made a prediction last year that if CHRISEAN would just simply walk away from the toxicity in her life, part of that is blue. God would use her in a very, very major way to connect with the youth. Because when people see someone like CHRISEAN and she can be redeemed, they can identify with her, and it's like, okay, if she can go to God, if God can accept her, there's no way God can't accept me. So, she came out to a church with Junior and she performed her song YAHWEH. A song that's, I want to say, Timbaland gave her the go ahead and the shout out on. He produced, what he thought it should sound like, and now it's a song. So they did an altar call, and a lot of young people rushed down to the altar to give their life to God, to Christ, because of her performing this song. And I wanted to look more off into CHRISEAN and YAHWEH. What is God's plan for CHRISEAN versus what is CHRISEAN's plan for CHRISEAN? So we're going to go ahead and tap into CHRISEAN and YAHWEH. And we're going to see what the influence is going to be from here on out, now that CHRISEAN is appearing to take her walk with God a lot more serious. So let's see how that's going to go for CHRISEAN. Show me the relationship, angels, ancestors, and spirit guides of the highest heavenly order. Show me the relationship that CHRISEAN has with YAHWEH and where she's projected to go. Okay, so the magician. Magician represents a master manifester, and you got faith, 5 of swords. So she may be conflicted at times on how she needs to communicate her faith, but this is someone who, does go before God, does pray to the best of her ability. And some people may have a conflicting opinion on how she delivers the message about her faith. But it says if she sticks with this, she will be a master manifester. Her gifts will make way for her. God will definitely take care of her, but she has to, eliminate this conflict that she has with how she's supposed to present herself according to what she thinks people want out of her versus what God wants out of her. So she's got to take people out of the equation. God is going to send the people to her that need to come to her. Yeah. And she's been able to take a lot of pain and turn it into profit, because she's been through a lot of heartbreak. Grew up, down and out, possibly homeless at times. The lovers made poor choices when it comes to lovers, and lost a lot due to loyalty with lovers. So, we've seen her go through a lot. And when people can connect with you and identify with you at the bottom, it helps them to be able to follow you to the top. So, got it. This is the plan that God has for CHRISEAN. Meet people where they are at the bottom and help them to ascend with you as you go to the top. Yeah. And here it is. She, the Wheel of Fortune, her Wheel of Fortune is affected a lot by the Justice Department. So she definitely knows about judge lest ye be judged for sure. But it's like a lot of these problems are, you know, exacerbated to a certain extent because of her popularity. Not to say that she ain't responsible for none of her troubles. It's just that they're more highlighted because of who she is. Yeah. And because of those troubles, it started to slow her money down tremendously. And then it's like, you know, juggling, you know, with decisions due to lovers and having to conquer this, you know, how do I say this in a monetized type of way? Having to conquer the lower chakras, okay? Not letting things that you do carnally get you caught up, you know, being whipped, okay? She had to get better control over her carnal energy. Yeah. So it looks like here it is. Now she has a new business opportunity, a new way to make money, a new way to take care of her and her child. And it's like they keep wanting her to have to fight to make money. And it's like she's fighting to go off into a new way to make money. So she's already thinking that that fighting situation is going to play out. And she's trying to find something better to do with herself than to go back to, you know, shows like Baddies and things like that to make money. She doesn't want to do that anymore. But it seems like the opportunities that are coming to her are coming a lot slower at the moment because this is what people want out of her. You know, they want her to come out there and show Chris Rock. She's trying to introduce people, you know, CHRISEAN Rock, excuse me. They want her to show CHRISEAN Rock. She's trying to introduce people to CHRISEAN Malone, if that makes sense. She's trying to grow, but people still want her to be in that old pattern. Yeah, and then here it is, the Palace of Wands. You know, she has to be careful about, you know, who she makes family decisions with because, you know, going off into things because of how they felt attached to the physical part of it, you know, has brought her a lot of sorrow. So she has to look at things a lot differently now. And she's starting to heal, she's starting to grow, and it's teaching her more about loving herself. Poor baby didn't have the best foundation. So it's like she's reteaching herself. She's rebuilding her foundation brick by brick on her own. So she's one of those ones that no matter how you feel about her, you got to grade her on the curve, because when you look at somebody, you know, all they know or all they knew in the past was manifestation through heartbreak. She's, you know, made a career out of turning her heartbreak and her pain into profit. Now she's got to learn how to profit out of peace. This is new for her. Yeah, and she's afraid about this new walk that she's taking, you know, trusting her faith, stepping out on faith. But it's like she's ready to take the offer. She's ready to hear the call. She's afraid of how this is going to manifest for her if she just, you know, full throttle just goes with God. She doesn't know how this is going to work, if she's going to be able to sustain herself not working in the lower vibration. If I decide to just be positive, if I don't fight anymore, if I don't turn up, if I don't go out to do this, and this, will this still make me money? Will I still have a comfortable, happy life? She's finding out that she's being reborn. Out of the heartbreak that came out of her family tree, she's being reborn. So born again in Christ. So I do see this as a genuine come to Jesus moment for her. She's realizing that changing her life is not going to bring an end to who she is. She can still be Christian in God. It's just she has to move different. Let's see, what is this down here? Yeah, so she's been betrayed a lot. People can't come back from these betrayals, and this is why she went in a hermit mode, to separate herself from people. And God said, if you follow me, now that you've cleaned this energy off of you from your family, you don't have to worry about fighting anymore. I pay well. I provide for all my daughters. So now she's learning what it means where, they say your gifts make way for you, that God will provide and protect for those that trust in him. She had to go into this dark night of the soul to learn to trust on God. The hermit is not just a card of having to go into seclusion. This may have been the energy that, was around her, the things that she thought about while she was being locked up. Because, if you're in hermit mode, being in jail is definitely hermit mode, because there's nothing you can do about it. You're stuck. Then you have to become comfortable with being alone, being by yourself. So she had to start learning what life was like without the family as she grew up, because Junior is her new family. Things that she do now, she has to do for Junior. Things that may not have been done for her, she's going to have to do for her son. So she's starting to learn what generational curses are, and she's working on breaking those. That's good to hear. Yeah, she's had a lot of embarrassment from this toxic lifestyle. It's cost her a lot of money. Yeah, it brought her a lot of notoriety. It brought her a lot of notoriety. Ooh, this Mercury retrograde is messing with my speaking patterns. And she's tired of all this public scrutiny, shame, embarrassment, regret that's attached to all these legal situations that come out of this toxic energy, because it's slowing her money down. It's affecting the new business that she's trying to go off into. So she's trying to cut ties with all of this toxicity, which is a big reason why she has to learn how to reteach herself. So she's going from a slow period with her money to her blessings are starting to come in. And here it is. The message, the testimony, the test was the testimony. A lot of people are watching her, and they're looking at her, and they're seeing how she's so, vulnerable, and she's honest about the things that she actually regrets, that she's sorry about. And it's touching people in ways that were never expected. There are people that are thinking about reading a couple of scriptures here and there that may have never read the Bible or don't go to church, because they relate to her. So she's able to pull a whole different type of energy and a whole type of different person to altar call that would never come if a regular person had it, because to them that person is square. They don't know what it's like. They ain't been out here. They haven't bent any corners. We know that she's practically done it all. And if she can come to God, then it got to be something in this for me, because if God can forgive her, then he might actually talk to me. So this looks like it's going to be very profitable for CHRISEAN when it's all said and done. I wouldn't even be surprised if she pops up with a whole new show with her trying to show people what it's like on the better side of life, when she's trying to do things the right way. I'm trying not to fight. I'm trying not to go back and forth with my family. I'm trying to, defeat these demons that come against me every day. And y'all watching me really go through it in real time, but I'm making it. So if I can make it, you can too. And it seems like, this is going to be the new hustle that's going to push her life and motivate her, and what's going to pay her now. So instead of her getting, profit from her pain. She's going to profit from evolving. That's going to be what's now going to take place of her trying to profit off of coming from the bottom. Now she's going to show people that you can make it from the bottom to the top, and you don't have to do it in a grimy way. We don't expect you to be perfect, but I mean, if this person can do it, this is like the Hail Mary pass. This is like, you know, for any of the sports fans that grew up watching those movies, this is like Rudy. This is like that moment to where if this person can do it, there's no one else that can ever say that there's not a place for them with God. So she's going to get a lot of people watching her, a lot of scrutiny, and then you're going to have people that are going to somehow, some way slip up and say, you know what, this God thing must not be so bad. Yeah, the fool. This is, you know, this was almost like she had to just trust on blind faith, and you know that ground mustard seed. There we go. She had to have the faith of a mustard seed, and she had to just jump out on faith, and she didn't know how this was going to work. She could have had a lot of people in her home life that were upset that she took this commitment because they felt like this affected them. This was not going to, you know, work well with what they had going on, because they need her to be in that old turn-up life, Palace of Wands, so that they could live all of their illicit dreams through her. So she's starting to understand now that people needed her to be broken so that they could live off of her and through her. They didn't want her to fix herself, because if she fixed herself, how is that going to be beneficial to them? Yeah. How is that going to be beneficial to them? Four of Pentacles in reverse. They would lose financial stability if she didn't continue to crash out and turn up. People needed her to crash out. And when she decided that that's just not what she was going to do, here it is, 8 of Cups. This is when people started separating from her. They started leaving her because she wanted to clean up her life and change her path. And it felt like, okay, well, it's been real. I guess this is it for the money. You know, she ain't gonna do this no more. We about to lose everything. And they just were so gung-ho and set in the idea that this was the only way that she could make money and the only way everybody could get on, that when she decided she didn't want to do this anymore, people just start separating from her. But it's like, this is what God wanted to happen. This is what God needed to happen, because these people were keeping her from her divinity. And some of them were family. And that's why it was so hard for her to detox and let go and detach, because these people are they're accustomed to negativity. So it was nothing to help keep her in a negative vibration, because that's all they know. So this is why this is the only way they knew that she could make it, is because this is all they know. So because she made it off of the one thing they know best, they don't know anything else. They can't give any more suggestions, no business ideas, nothing like that. Like the business and all the things that CHRISEAN is learning now, she's learning from the people that God are sending into her life now, not the people that God is allowing to be removed. Yeah. And see, her following her faith is actually going to be a good commitment for her, because this actually is going to bring stability. It's going to bring everything peacefully in her life that she ever wanted. The family she's always wanted, the life she's always wanted, the bank account she always wanted is attached to God. The love that she's always wanted, attached to God. And she's starting to understand that now. This was a foreign concept to her. She didn't come from a family that truly was rooted in God. And she's starting to learn that now. And because she's actually dealing with the Most High now, these family members who she thought believed in God, they can't even identify with her anymore, because your God and their God is not the same. Yeah. And now that the money is starting to come back, here comes the people coming back all of a sudden. Hey girl, hey, how are you? I was thinking we needed to talk and patch things up. I mean, we are family. But what my angels are telling me is that she's going to have to be careful with that, because these people have ulterior motives. Remember, I just said they did not believe that she could do this the righteous way. They did not believe that she could manifest without heartbreak. So when these people come back in, it's because they have their own ulterior motives, because it's like, oh, Wheel of Fortune, you getting back to the bag? But they know, right now the bag is coming through, a different foundation. It's coming through balance. And because she wants balance, and she's already been through all of this with the legal system, it's like to deal with these people again is going to bring her back right into these legal problems. It's going to bring back a lot of humiliation, a lot of negative energy that she just doesn't need. It pulls her right back into who she was before she made this decision with God. And see, she's come too far. Palace of Cups. She's finally in a loving home. Things are finally working out for her. It's like all this other energy is behind her now. So she's in the stage of rebuilding. But her blessings are coming back in, and they're starting to come in fast. It wasn't expected that this was going to be a good decision for her, but it's working out better than they expected. So she could end up going on tour, throughout all these different churches to help with the altar calls and the youth ministries. And some of the churches, they're going to be on the wall. They're going to be 50-50 about this, because they're like, are we bringing the right energy into our church? We don't want to distract our youth bringing somebody like CHRISEAN in. So it's going to take a little bit more work for other companies to see this, other churches to see this and invest in her. But once they see what they need to see, and they see how she works with the children, they see how the youth responds to her. Because remember, pages also represent young children. Pages can be anywhere up to tweens. So like the very, very young children up to the preteens are going to be buzzing, and they're going to be talking to the people in the church like, are you bringing CHRISEAN? Are you bringing CHRISEAN? And it's going to cause a lot of conflict and communication in secret between the churches and the families, because there's going to be, people that just are not going to buy off into this. And I mean, I get it, spirituality and religion are very serious. So I get it. But this is what she's going to have to work through. And when she works through this, if she studies to show herself approved, it will take off very well. And, it'll pay for itself in no time. Yeah. So she's got to be careful with the opportunities that she takes coming up in the near future. Also, avoiding substance problems, because that's the only thing that I can see here that can ruin her in the decisions that she makes and where she's going, is the substances. So she's going to have to be delivered from that as well. But I see her being able to tap into her intuition, and her only thing that she needs to just really focus on is that lower chakra and, vices. She can beat that. She can beat anything. That's the only devil that still, bothers her. And it looks like she's getting all of this under control. Yeah, the Emperor. So she's starting to finally realize, like, delete the message and let Lil Ugly have them, because the man that she was choosing to lead her could never bring her financial stability, and it was always going to be, a hedonistic type environment dealing with him in his house. And there's things that she's going to take to her grave. I respect that. But she's better off if she just moves on and marries someone else. And I don't see marriage in the cards for her anytime soon because she got healing to do. But I see she's on a really, really great path. And if she continues to trust God, it's going to work out very well for her. Yes, people will be kind of dicey about if they should trust her with their children. But, you know, that's something that she's going to have to face. And when people see her in a certain energy for enough time, they won't be able to continue to hold her past against her, because her past is just that. She's no longer the person she used to be. She's a whole different person. She gave all of that stuff up and turned her life over to God. So how long can you hold that against her? That's not scriptural either. Because when somebody goes to God, God makes them a new being in Christ. So if God can accept her being a new being in Christ, the real question is, could the church, the people who are supposed to be Christ-like, will they be able to allow her to change? That's going to be her new struggle. The haters that she has coming in the future, will she be able to, you know, weather the storm with some of these church folks that speak about her, especially when they speak recklessly, not understanding that she's still building her faith? So I'm going to go ahead and close this reading out here. Thank you in advance for your viewership, support, and I'll see you in the next one. I'm trying to knock out as much content right now while I got free time so I can get this to you this weekend. You know, you'll have something to watch on Sunday. So hopefully this will be up before you have dinner tonight. Y'all have a great evening. I thank you so much. And this reading is adjourned. CHRISEAN and YAHWEH.